Hi, everybody. My name is Alex Asher, and I'm actually also joined here with Jay Colios-Terry from the LearnCube team. My job is, as CEO of LearnCube, is not only helping language companies, it's basically what we do, but also looking at not just how we can help from a technological point of view, but how we can also help from a business and sort of strategy and marketing point of view. So today, just setting the scene, we're really going to be looking at some of the areas that we know that a lot of physical language schools struggle with, particularly when they're moving from a physical language school model into adding either online as a complement or doing more online in that way. But certainly online language learning as a complement is the thing that we help a lot of schools with, and really hope that we might be able to help the people on this call with. So Jay, just introduce yourself with a couple of things that people should know about you too.
Okay, yeah, great. So pleasure to meet you all. I think I've met some of you before at various events around the world, and that's the world that I came from before this. Was I was the director of technology for ICEF and a salesperson there as well over a 10-year stretch for my sins. So I probably met most of you at ICEF Berlin and various other events. I've been at LearnCube for a year now, heading up their sales team. And so I kind of straddle the worlds of developer, as well as having worked in international recruitment in one form or another, and now at LearnCube as well with the kind of online course delivery. So that's my world.
Great. And what I'm going to be doing today is I'll be sharing my screen, and apologies if I look a little bit dark and mysterious. I'm actually in New Zealand and it's very early in the morning here. So apologies for a low light. So I'm actually going to probably turn off my video so it's not distracting anyone with my aura. But I will be sharing my screen now, and Jay will be here on the call as well with me. 3 reasons why physical language schools are losing online. That is kind of how a lot of schools can be feeling at the moment, but also what to do about it. Like, this is not something that you are powerless to do something about. So one of the reasons that we know quite a lot about this is because we provide an online language school software to so many schools, both before COVID and after COVID. We do have that exposure to be able to see what works and what doesn't. And I wanted to chat on a couple of these first. And I wanted to start with some of the things that I think some owners may think, and maybe why that may not be the actual case. It is easy in a way to look at, hey, the economy is not so good for a lot of people. People might not want to spend. Teaching online is inferior to in-person, and look, I understand as well. There's a long way to go for us to really excel online, even from a teacher training perspective. So I can see where people might feel that, and also there's that sense of, how do I compete with other online schools or people that have, I don't know, more money or better technology or those sorts of things, and there sort of feels like this barrier that schools may feel is there. And I wanted to think about those differently, because there are maybe that those aren't actually complete truths. So yeah, COVID has certainly been hugely disruptive to the worldwide economy, but equally, students are, at the moment only able to learn online, and that offers its own opportunity. And there are lots of schools actually that have been able to either maintain their business. Some of them have seen a small drop off, but there's also, I don't think that's a terrible result considering the gravity of what's kind of been facing us over this last year. But also, there have been businesses that really accelerated. So it hasn't been an equal experience in that way. There are virtual classrooms like LearnCube that enable a really classroom experience. And really our goal is to make online language education as good online as it is in person. So again, I think the sense that learning online as inferior, I think really can be questioned, and we like to see it challenged. And we've seen schools also improve their competitive position. Like sometimes we kind of look at the absolute position, our cash flow or our business, but also keeping in mind where's your competitive position. And so some people that might not be doing quite as well as they did last year might actually be doing a lot better than, say, their competitors. And in our case, we saw a lot of our customers that already had our product feel quite prepared, and again, be able to maintain where they were. And I think once we get that kind of rebound and that recovery, I think they're going to be doing really well. And the ones that have succeeded have been the ones that have really committed online long term, not just as an ad hoc aspect, but really complementing their in-person offer as something that's going to be a permanent part of their business. And so these are the three mistakes that I think lead to schools really struggling online. And one of those is really using a patchwork of tools. And so actually, it is an inferior experience. And so, but that can be changed. That's not something that is a permanent feature of online language education. It is something that that can be changed. Likewise, and this is actually particularly controversial. I was actually so nervous about putting this in there because I know how how sensitive this issue is. But teacher hourly rates, for example, there is an aspect there that if somebody isn't having to go to travel into a workplace or and to kind of have a very kind of blocked out time period, there's actually a good reason why teachers might actually be willing to accept a lower rate for delivering online learning without that feeling like it's undervaluing their teaching experience. One of the reasons I put this in there, and I felt it was important, is because otherwise there are some anchor prices online. There is a global price range online. That doesn't mean that you can't get to that higher end of that range. But I think if you're offering this exactly the same service, or at least perceived service as somebody else online, but you're 3 times the price, that's going to be it's not even going to be a hard sell. It may just not happen. And so that's where I think teachers and owners and managers probably do need to work hand in hand there to find something that works. Because the reality is, if nobody buys, then the teacher doesn't get paid either. So I think there is an element of kind of collaboration that I would open and suggest that kind of needs to happen. And then I've also put here that online teaching, it's not something temporary anymore. I think that's a huge mistake because students feel that, agents feel that, everybody feels it when it's a temporary situation. And if I'm a student, why would I choose a school that's kind of offering a Band-Aid experience? I want a great experience. And I think that's where schools really, there are solutions for that. So that means making online learning as good, if not better, online. And also the ways that we can do that is by adding real personal service, personality to not just to your service, but also to your marketing, and into the whole kind of experience that a student will have. Because a lot of that personnel and that personal service you see in physical language schools themselves, but for some reason gets lost when it's online, and it doesn't have to be that way. One of the other solutions is, as I say, maybe collaborating with teachers on hourly rates that make sense online for everybody. In the end, teachers will get more momentum and get more energy out of being able to teach. If there's no one to teach, everyone's a loser out of that experience, including the students. They'll be missing out on your brilliant service. So have a talk with your teachers about this. And you might also need to play with bundles and even class duration. So for example, I know in Germany, for example, 90 minutes was very much the standard amount of time that a class was. And that means that the overall classroom cost is actually quite high, right? Because you're paying for 90 minutes. When online, first of all, there might be a preference for maybe doing a 30-minute class. I wouldn't say that for a group class, of course, but particularly for a private class, you can kind of make the price point seem a lot more attractive, even just by having, for example, 30-minute classes rather than 90-minute classes. And then this last thing I think is totally crucial as part of that solution mix, which is just having a very coherent strategy. Online is not going to go away, and it should be something that we really welcome, and I think really give it its full kind of due. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about this, and I actually have other YouTube videos that I can provide, or any kind of some resources there to kind of help people think about how online could fit in the mix. But for now, I'm going to look a little bit more about how to make online learning great. And so what makes online learning great? Let's start with making it easy. Making it easy as well to understand your online offer and to really start learning with you. So again, I'm putting in the positives here of what can be done. So using videos that really demonstrate the experience and show that it's a great experience, not just a mediocre experience. Testimonials can really help with this. Clear descriptions that really identify that, hey, this is quite a personal service and not something that you can just get off the shelf from somewhere else. And if you're offering a quality product, you need to just demonstrate why it's deserving of that premium. I would definitely look at free trials and assessments as ways of giving people a taste for your product. And I also think that mixing up your larger, I know that a lot of physical language schools are very used to selling courses, intensive courses, 15, 20 hours a week. And there may be an opportunity for you with that. Particularly agents can be really, really helpful in that way, because it's a much more expensive product because people are doing 15 hours a week rather than say 2 or 3 hours a week. But it also probably needs to be sold, and as part of selling that, that's where, again, sort of agents and other partners and channels can really help. But that's why I also say it has to also have some mixes of shorter courses, or even private classes that people can get a taste of what that experience is. I think only offering long courses creates this very big hurdle for students to get in. And particularly if you're doing any direct marketing, it can be too much of a hurdle for people to kind of feel comfortable with parting with a lot of money online for an experience that they don't feel very clear about with the description. It may not have the video and testimonials that give them that confidence. So that's where I talk about making it easy to understand. And I also would argue as well, making it easy to buy with you, making it easy to contact you. So those are also things that are within your control on your website, and the systems that you include, including whether that might be the LearnCube online school. Next, I talk about the importance of online learning to being personal and premium. If you're listening in today, you're probably not the largest online language school in the world. Not a problem. But that means you need to have something different to those incumbents. And being personal and premium are the ways that you do that. It's just like in quality English, it's about quality. I mean, when you think about what quality means, it's not just about the curriculum, but also the quality, and that personalization, I think, is what people really, really value. So adding certain personal touch points, I think this is where another kind of area that physical language schools going online struggle with. It's sort of throwing what they learnt before out when they go online. So in many physical language schools that I've had the pleasure of getting to know, often the owner and the staff are incredibly personal. They create lots of personal touch points, from the welcome to the way that the teacher might talk with the student after. All of those things sort of happen in person, but for some reason are lost online, and they don't really have to be. So I am seeing with some physical language schools, mixing kind of private and group classes already can help soften that experience of it being too automated, too impersonal. And so that's why I kind of really, even just picking up the phone can add a personal touch. It doesn't have to all be so systematic that it feels kind of, I guess, removed from the student. Reducing class sizes also has a major impact on the sense of value and the personalization. Now, one of the things that LearnCube didn't do last year, and I think maybe if you've been watching our journey unfold over the last while, that felt like something that was quite difficult for physical language schools that were used to dealing with, say, classes of more than 8 students. We are actually able to deliver classes of more than 8. We do have a large group mode now available. But saying that, I would still suggest that if you're trying to show value, sometimes it's harder to show value with a class size of more than 8, partly just because there are some very strong competitors there that are going to be either offering smaller groups that make a student feel that they've got a closer, like more attention from the teacher and get a better value for that experience. So something worth considering. But I can certainly both, we can enable it, and also I can see why people might want to have larger group classes. So something worth trading off. Consistency and being very professional, I think, is the other aspect. If you are dealing, and we're all competing in a global market, to do that, you do need to have an equalizer. Again, that's where LearnCube, I think, can really help, both from the platform point of view and the classroom. So that's, I guess, some ideas about making online personal and premium. But I think on top of the technology side, training your teachers so that they're really confident about what you're teaching, how you're teaching, the way that they're teaching, I think is just as important. So we actually have quite a few free tools. You can even look on our YouTube channel as well. So even regardless of whether you're using LearnCube, you can see, I guess, the standard that is there with online language education. So that's another area that you can really show that online learning can be great when the teachers feel comfortable and confident with the technology. I mean, a great teacher with technology absolutely can outshine even a great teacher, but that has a really hopeless sense of technology. Online, it's actually very important that you understand your tools. And I think one of the things that we are trying to do is build lots of resources that take the pressure away from you as owners and managers, to kind of pave the way with best practice and try and give you the resources to feel empowered, that your teachers can learn either with us or through those resources. But one of the other things I think is just as important as well is your teachers really understanding just simple troubleshooting and the protocols involved there. Online, look, the main thing that is going to come up are connectivity issues. They're nothing to be too scared of. I'm actually in a hotel quarantine in New Zealand for the next couple more days, and I can tell you that the connectivity, the internet just suddenly dies for a minute. And I myself, when I'm in meetings, I just have to be patient. I also have to set expectations sometimes with the people that I'm meeting that, hey, if this happens, this is what we're going to do about it. So basic troubleshooting tools, protocols, if we set them up and we don't panic, it's actually not a problem at all. And it can make a student feel, or really softens or mitigates any issues that students might have. So how to position those online courses in your physical language school with your online. And what I really think of is your in-person classes remain your gold star courses. they're always going to be important to you. And we know that that's probably where you're going to be going long-term in terms of the bulk of your business. But your online delivery is not just a now problem. You've heard it a million times, but I think there is still a disconnect between hearing that online matters and actually really investing and making sure it is an ongoing investment and an ongoing part of your business, because it's going to matter. A lot of students maybe won't want to be going back to in-person. And also there's just lots of opportunity. There are just really strong business opportunities to use online in a pre-course experience, in a post-course experience, in a way of complementing even your groups, even using private online tutoring to complement your group classes or provide particular specialties. So all of those things still matter regardless of what happens with COVID. And that's one of the things I always feel very confident on, is that you can't make a wrong decision by investing in your online presence, because it's going to matter no matter what. But one thing I would say is, if you're going to use your agents to fill some of maybe your higher end courses that might be more expensive because they are a lot more classes, and there's a lot more kind of personal attention or support or whatever that is that makes it a higher price point, your staff or your agent's going to need to sell that probably, because it's just too high a ticket item for somebody to buy off the shelf online. Whereas if you are doing some of your own direct marketing, look at niches first before you kind of try and use direct marketing for general courses, general business English courses or general English courses. That's going to be a struggle for you to get direct marketing work, because there's so much competition in that space when you're doing direct marketing. So that's why, as I say, you're going to have to choose channels for the right purpose. Also looking at shorter courses. Again, why? Because the price point also makes it much more achievable for a student that doesn't know your language school particularly well to be able to still make a buying decision. And the third thing is about standing out. Creating a superior experience, creating consistency, creating personalization, and having tools that really support that online learning experience it's just absolutely crucial today. So I want to take a little break here for a moment, and I want you to audit your own online offering. So I've got these questions here, so maybe just take a moment while you're looking at the screen here and go through each of those and really have a think about how your online courses are at the moment. First of all, are they selling well enough? That's probably a good sign that there's either something about your marketing or the positioning or the way that you're communicating, or even the price point of your online courses that's getting in the way of selling more. How competitive is your online offer? Again, pricing might be a point, but it's actually not nearly as important as you think. Lots of schools are selling at a premium, but they're only going to work that way if you're delivering the value. So if you've got an online experience that supports a premium price, are you going to succeed in that and get returns and get retention and keep people really, really happy with that? How easy is it for you to manage your entire school process? Because if it's not really easy, that's hard for your teachers. Your students are going to feel, everything's going to feel like it's got lots of friction. And that's also where you might be, have a think about, are you putting too many things together, patching everything together, and it's feeling like it's kind of clashing? And then also, how good are those live classes as well? Are they really as good, if not better than in person? And if not, why not? Or what could you do to make that a really amazing experience? One thing I think as well is not just how good is that experience, and I've talked about a couple of things, but also I would probably add how streamlined is it for people to book classes or know what classes are coming up. That's a really important part of the overall experience. So have a little bit of a think about those. I'm just going to double check I haven't lost anyone on the chat. Jay, any questions that are desperate to be asked, or can we answer those at the end?
There's nothing in the chat right now, and do feel free to put questions in there, guys, if you have them as we go along. and we can get those answered for you.
Absolutely. So hopefully you've had a couple of moments just to think on those, how well they're selling, how competitive your online offer is, how easy it is for you to manage all of your online school, and also how great actually is that live online class experience. So with that in mind, one of the reasons that I felt really strongly about talking today was to see how we can help more language schools through this Kickstart program. When we were talking to a lot of language schools last year, our setup fee, basically we have a setup with our product, our online school, that I think was an inhibitor for people to make the decision and pull the trigger and actually get the experience that they need to be able to compete. And we're really talking about an equalizer. So our online language school is simple, it's modern, and it's an all-in-one solution. One of the reasons that this is really important is it's not only cohesive for yourselves and your staff, but also for your students. So everyone feels the benefit of having a complete solution. It's robust and reliable as well. So we're delivering over 100,000 classes online every month. So we really do know what we're doing with this. And I think one of the things that people definitely feel when they use our product, and the students feel, is that sense of professionalism. No longer are they using the same product that they would use to call their grandma on the other side of the world. They are using a professional classroom experience. And I think that makes all the difference when you're trying to show value and show that you're not just another generic off-the-shelf experience. And also, we really believe in giving your brand the presence and the amount of space that it deserves. So with our system, you don't actually have to download anything. So it's all through the web, which makes it really simple. There's no downloads, there's no updates. It's just all there and it'll work for you. So that's what our online language school is about, this all-in-one solution from not just the virtual classroom itself, but all of the process that wrap around that, from scheduling, class credits, user management, a central library for all of your resources, whether that be video, PDFs, audio files, all of those things, and then reports. Automated reports that not only help you understand your business, but also keep everyone honest, making sure that teachers are turning up on time, students are turning up on time, and managing class credits and cancellations in a really effective manner. So we do all of that in this one solution. So what I'm going to mention as well is that we, unlike putting everything in sort of these separate individual bundles and then trying to patch it all together, which actually can cost quite a lot of money. When you kind of actually add all of these services together, even for every teacher, it actually starts adding up. And also students really feel that disjointedness, that lack of flow and that sense of friction. Whereas we provide an all-in-one solution that deals with your scheduling, centralized lesson library, user management, the class credits, which is a really important function in terms of managing and controlling which students can enter classes, and if they cancel, how to deal with those, private classes, allowing students to even self-book. So all of that can be done. Plus we provide that setup and training. With the virtual classroom itself, why does it feel more professional? Why does it feel more premium? Why does it feel more fit for purpose? Not only do you have your brand there, but you've got multiple whiteboards. So you can really switch between different ideas. This is just fundamental. If you've got teachers that are teaching a lot online as well, being able to switch between ideas, like going from your set material to being able to pull out an idea, run with it for a little bit with the class, and then go back into the set materials. Very, very important. Language tools and instant access to all of your content library and resources. So you can upload all of the resources that you want, and that means at a click of a button, your teachers can access that. We've got annotation tools. There are actually some fantastic annotation tools now, both for young learners and even for adult learners. from pointer tools to star stamps. These are, again, tools of the trade. If you're wanting to have a professional experience, then we provide those tools, plus the training to be able to make the most of those. And I did mention before, look, troubleshooting is an inevitable part of teaching online. We provide those tools both to prevent problems, to diagnose problems, and to solve them really easily. Again, we also provide the training for your teachers to know how to do it and to feel confident about it. As I say, it's just part of the process, but it's something that we feel that we can really add value to and show that your teachers are professional in what they do. One of the big aspects of this was not just simply, hey, how do we remove our setup fee with this Kickstart program? The idea actually was to get you set up faster. Also getting you as part of a cohort where you can all go through the same process at the same time, providing that professionalism, but streamlining that process. So you're going to get not only a really great setup experience, it is going to be modifiable depending on your requirements, but you are going to be going through training and admin sessions and support sessions that you can do at the same time as others. Again, I think that's where you can offer insights and help each other. Like, yes, there's an element of, hey, are we competing? Potentially, but the pool is big enough for us all to succeed here, and we're going to succeed better if we work together on this and collaborate. And then we also have that opportunity for teacher training. Again, one of the things I think we can really help with and help those teachers really get their groove back. I've heard far too many teachers that really feel like they're teaching with almost a hand behind their back because they haven't felt like they've got the real know-how or the tools to be able to teach as effectively online as they felt in person. So these are the next steps if you're interested. We actually, next week, and that's why Jay also is here with us, we're going to be demoing our online school from start to finish in 2 different sessions. Again, we're going to be able to record these so you can feel comfortable in understanding what you might be working with. But the idea here is that you understand what the LearnCube online school is, understand how it can really help your business, professionalize it, streamline it, make it more coherent, more cohesive, and more competitive. In the end, this is an equalizer. This is about you being able to use the same tool that even Babbel, one of the most iconic language companies in the world, is also using, that Kern, one of the most iconic corporate language training companies, is using. We really do have a product that puts you on the same level and the same playing field as these larger companies and allows you to deliver the service that I think you really want to, which is the highest end, the quality end of online language tuition. And it's no longer an ad hoc, it's part of your business. And it's always going to be there to support you. And one of the great things about this is you're going to be able to get the online language school without the setup fee, which is going to be saving you, and thanks to Quality English for this, it's going to be saving you almost $1,500. But all you have to do is start with a subscription. There's not going to be a commitment there. You can start your subscription if you register before the end of this month. And so then on week 1, starting on the 1st of March, we're going to be confirming setups. Make sure you're really comfortable with your school setup. In week 1 and 2, we're going to be providing that admin training and then starting to do also that sort of teacher training so that everyone feels really confident about what's happening here. You're then going to be able to start rolling it out with a bit of a soft launch. Like, again, this is a bit of change management here. I know that sometimes it can feel a little bit confronting when you're moving to a new system. So just taking it easy, letting that 2nd and 3rd week, starting to get some students involved, starting to get the teachers involved and feeling more confident with it. And then by the end of the month, by the end of your first month, you're really feeling like you can put the pedal to the metal and feel like you've got an online school solution that's going to be able to take your business to the next level. So what I'd really encourage you to do is register today, starting with the demo sessions that are with Jay next week. They're on the same email that is with the Quality English emails that have been sent out. And then as part of that, we are going to have a registration form. We'll be sharing also with Jonathan and the Quality English team to be able to actually register for your online school, what you actually want it to do. Now, again, I think that's why it's important to at least see, even if it's just a recording of our demo, because we want to know, hey, how do you want your school to look and feel? Like, is it just group? Are you going to be offering private? Are you going to be offering a blend? Are you going to do 30-minute classes, 60-minute classes? What's your cancellation period? These are all parts of a professional system. Very easy for us to work with you on it, but that's why we'll have a particular form for you to register and then also get ready for your first subscription. We're going to be starting everybody on our entry-level subscription, which is, I remember in US dollars, and just for ease, since we might have a global audience today,
It's £98.
£98, exactly. 100, is it 118? Is that right?
118 US.
118 US for that entry level subscription. If you're going to be, that's for up to 5 teachers. If you're going to be, if you have a larger school than that, no problem at all. We can work with you on what that subscription value looks like, but it's going to be something that's affordable. And remembering, you're now going to be having an investment that you can use for the entirety of your future of your language school, but you're only going to be paying for this basically on day one is just a small subscription. So that's why I'm pretty excited about offering this to you. This is the first time that we've offered this, the Kickstart program, and I really think it's going to excel businesses across the world, particularly with quality English. And I think it's a way that LearnCube can really pay it forward as well. I'm really excited about being able to work with more language schools. We see ourselves as wanting to be and really trying to make sure we earn that right to be the best tool for online language education, period, in the world. So it's, yeah, definitely the gauntlet's on us to keep that going. But for now, I just wanted to leave that with you. Please register for the demo sessions that we've got coming up with Jay next week. I'm going to stop sharing my screen for now and then allow ourselves a little bit of time just to answer any questions or maybe go into anything in a bit more detail if needs be.
So yeah, so Kathy has asked, how long is the training for teachers and staff usually? Yeah, I think that's an interesting question, and I think it really depends on the. There's a lot of self-help materials that we offer, so those being for admins and for teachers around how to use the virtual classroom and administer the platform.
Yeah.
If you are using those materials with help from us throughout the process that we so through the Kickstart process, it's going to be a couple of weeks, up to 4 weeks throughout the whole process, but a couple of weeks probably will be sufficient to get up and running.
Yeah, and Kathy, just to clarify, I mean, there's also 2 aspects there, which is in terms of the setup aspect, we usually would expect your admin staff to feel pretty close to, I think, starting within an hour of that training. But then, of course, there's going to be an aspect like where you need to come back and then learn that next stage. And so, you know, it's probably going to take a good couple of hours for administrative staff, but you want that to kind of happen over a period of time. And that's why we've kind of got that first 2 weeks, which is, again, allowing that extension of learning so it doesn't feel so overwhelming, and going from there. Now, in terms of who is delivering the online teacher training courses, so we're going to be mixing it between ourselves as well. We all have a different flair and a different thing that we understand. But when it comes to teacher training, we actually have our head of education, Willem, who is absolutely brilliant at helping teachers understand how to deliver great online sessions. So I think he'll be at the core of our training, but you'll also see myself and Jay also providing these training courses. But again, there are really 2 different types of training. One is the administrative staff feeling really comfortable about running an online school. As I say, they're going to feel pretty confident after the first 2 weeks, but there's always, you know, there's always going to be that Q&A aspect. And that's why with the Kickstart program, you're going to have this online and this ongoing experience of we're going to be able to get together as a group, we'll be able to provide the training, and there's going to be that opportunity for Q&A. And since the cohort is going to be doing the same thing at the same time, it's going to be really easy for us to be able to not just train, but also really collaborate together as a cohort to make sure that everyone's getting the most out of it and maybe finding what works for them. There's always going to be small tweaks that happen on that side. So I'm quite excited about that.
Yeah, I've been very lucky in the last few months to be learning Greek via our platform. So one of our customers is a Greek school, and they're teaching me Greek online. And we started off before they brought the platform on using Zoom. So it was a really nice experience to go from having quite a polished Zoom experience where they've been using that for quite some time, but realizing the limitations there was only so much interactivity from my side of the classroom. It was really the teacher leading everything. And now, having used our platform as well, it gives us that ability, and something that we encourage all of our staff to do to make sure that we're experiencing either in a kind of instructor capacity or in a student capacity. And so hopefully that's what we also for teachers. It's not just this is how you could use the tools, but this is also what your students are going to experience by allowing them to interact with these different types of media.
I think it's a really good point, Jay, as well. And just kind of why that teacher training component is so important. It's really easy for teachers to feel like they're good at teaching online simply by being able to get through the class. And what I think that often means is that a lot of teachers are degrading and deprecating their actual amazing skills, because what they move to is back to presenter. How do I just present the materials that I've got? And really, I think that's where students feel like they're getting a raw deal. And I think that's quite matter of fact, that is actually an inferior experience to an in-person session, because there isn't that level of interactivity. So that's where we do see our virtual classroom really shining. And that's why we think that teacher training as well as technical training is so important, because if you don't know how to use the tools, then you're always going to be staying at the same level. And it's not the quality, the pointy end of that group. We really want quality English teachers and the schools to be delivering the best they really possibly can. Excellent. So this is another great question from Jonathan. So how do recommend schools show the quality of their online provision in order to start recruiting more students? Demos to agents, or are there other ways? So that's a good one. Now, also one of the things I'm going to do is also ask Jay. One of the reasons is, one thing you might not know about Jay is, and he kind of alluded to it before, he's very, very clever as well on the marketing and business side of things. And so as part of the LearnCube team, we all have our strengths and weaknesses. But Jay, do you have any ideas around how people can really make the most of that quality aspect of their provision, and how do they demonstrate that?
I think in Jonathan's question probably alluded to a really good idea, which is to have close and knit integration with your agents as well, so they know exactly what they're selling to their students. The interesting thing there is how do you facilitate that? Do you do that as a live session where you get your agents on to the platform, get them a trial account, get them to have a lesson, really understand what the students can receive? I would say yes.
Totally.
The more that they get to experience the actual classroom experience and understand what kind of tools there are in there. It's amazing to us when we do presentations about our platform and people start realizing how much interaction a student can have, that it's the first time they've seen something like that. And that's because they've done webinars and they've done Zoom calls with their family and things like that. And actually, it's the ability to interact with the page, leave that material there for later, and have a proper interaction that feels almost like gamification in the classroom. I think being able to express that to agents and also be able to create those supporting materials that talk about what the classroom experience will be like and hand those over is a really good idea.
That's right. I mean, two other things I would add. One is our platform has a demo classroom feature. So that's where a student doesn't actually have to sign in. They can actually just go straight into what we call a demo classroom. something that we'll be talking about in the demo sessions with Jay, because free trials can be quite an effective thing. But look, when you're having calls with agents, don't send them a Zoom link. Don't send them a Skype link. Send them a LearnCube link, where they can actually get into a classroom and you can show it, but also in the class. I mean, seeing is certainly believing. And when you see people in those classrooms and they initially there's no interaction, but then you see people start playing with the tools and going, oh, wow. And they even say things like, oh, so both sides can actually type on the same screen. Both sides are on the same page. Both sides are annotating. Oh, those notes are saved automatically. What? Like all of those things start adding up. And that's where I think you can really both win agents, because now they've got something interesting to talk about. And then B, if you can do those videos that really show the virtual classroom with your brand, I mean, that actually can stand out. Like otherwise, what are you going to be showing? Literally one of your teachers in the same platform with a big Zoom, Skype, Teams, Google Meet, whatever it is the generic platform is, on the screen. Like we want you to be pushing your brand, your quality, and your personality through with this.
That's definitely true. Yeah. I think what you just said there was exactly right in terms of when I'm in the classroom experience, I really want to feel like that I'm paying for everything within it as well. So I'm not jumping onto another Zoom call, but I'm actually going in to this place where I learn. And so when I join my Greek class, I'll join on the Wednesday. It looks different to everything else I'm using throughout the week. And it feels like this is the thing that I've purchased more so. Yeah.
I am going to wrap up just for the, just respecting everyone's time here and everyone listening in. Thank you so much. I did want to quickly reiterate what this program is. It's the Kickstart program. It's starting on the 1st of March. So there is an absolute cutoff at the end of this month. So you do need to register by then. Next week, we're giving ample opportunity for you to see, check it out, check out what the online school entails. There's very little risk. Why? Because there's no setup fee. It's just a simple subscription starting on the 1st, but you need to get in your registration before that to be part of this, this program. It is going to be dealing with a lot of quality English schools. So this is something that, there's camaraderie here with this particular cohort. With the online school, if you saw the online school last year, there might be a couple of areas that, again, you might have thought, I'm unsure. We now have breakout rooms. This is absolutely cutting edge stuff. I mean, breakout rooms, while maybe not necessarily a new product, in terms of the way that LearnCube is delivering it, you'll really love the experience and see how it's actually made for educators. Second thing is, if you do need to do large group classes, we do have that offering. Before we didn't, and now we do. We also have a new modern user interface with our online school. So it looks hot. Like this is going to be something that makes your, not only looks great on your website when you're doing your own images and you're creating those videos, but looks really professional. It looks slick, and it is that equalizer so that you can really feel that you can compete in this space. So thank you so much for your time. Make sure you register for one of our demo sessions with Jay next week. And remember that this is a one-off experience. It's a way for us to pay it forward, a way for us to help quality English teachers and schools deliver their best. So thank you again for your time, and see you in one of Jay's sessions.
Cheers, everyone. See you next week.
Thanks all.